Hi everybody, so my name is Nicolas Glady, I'm professor of marketing at ESSEC Business School. I'm also in charge of the Accenture Strategic Business Analytics chair. So I'd like to say a bit what I do, because I do believe that's actually quite consistent with the approach we have for the chair. Because on top of being in charge of the chair, I'm also the director for Center for Digital Business, which gathers the different academic activities we have about digital businesses and digital transformation. So there are many chairs in the center, many different programs. In general, we are interested in understanding how digital transformations impact businesses. Since some months now, I'm also in charge of a new business unit we created at ESSEC, which is the Knowledge Center. And the mission of this business unit is to propose and serve different clients in terms of innovative teaching methods and innovative usages. And for instance, here you're in the K-Lab. The K-Lab is part of those new usages, but we're also talking about MOOCs, the cognitive maps, and different things like that. And finally, since the 1st of September, I've been appointed the Chief Digital Officer of the school. So I'll try to propose new digital experiences for with the teams, obviously, for students and teachers and professors and the whole community of ESSEC. Why do I say that? It's because I do believe that when you're interested in serving your customers as a professor of marketing, should be very quickly you will start entering into big data, because big data is about user-generated content and using data to understand consumers better very often. And so you start actually becoming more customer-centric when you analyze the data you have about your consumers. And if you do that, if you leverage customer-generated content, user-generated content, you start actually changing your business models. Because if you do that, you will enter into the participative crowdsourcing and collaborative economy. And you probably know the importance that data has for businesses like Uber, Airbnb, and those new types of business models that are totally changing the way people do businesses. So my point here is that I do believe that data nowadays is at the core of the transformations we see in the business. And I do think that with the types of trainings you'll get, if you enroll and if you're selected in the chair, you will have everything you need to understand better this digital revolution that everybody is talking about. So I don't think I need to convince you that big data is very, very important and very strategic actually for most businesses nowadays. When you look at the ranking, so this is actually a quite old ranking of the most important companies in the world. Obviously, we see very quickly that we have those GAFA players, so Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Apple, and they are all heavily relying on data to drive and steer their business. And now we should also add Uber again and Airbnb, and those businesses are very much data-driven. So this is very important, and it's certainly even more important in terms of jobs. So I'm talking about you guys now. If you're interested in finding a job, which I suppose you are, I would really advise you to consider a career in data analytics and business analytics in general, because research by Accenture highlighted that we're talking about a market that is huge. We're talking about billions of dollars, and we're also talking about hundreds and thousands of jobs. And there is clearly a problem in the market for the moment. Everybody is looking for data scientists and business analytics experts, but actually the supply of those skills and those types of competencies is not there yet. So maybe you know that when you have a gap between supply and demand, it's good to be on the right side of the demand. And so if you have something to offer that the market is looking for, that will be very good for you, for your career. Now, the thing is that why is it difficult to find? Because it's actually quite complex. And I need to disclose something from the start. For those of you who are interested in the chair, you'll have to realize that this will be quite a challenge, because you will have to learn a lot of different skills. very quickly because we want to train you on different aspects, and you'll see that basically there are obviously some, I would say, hard skills, hard science skills, like data analytics, but this is actually not the end of the game. If you really want to be successful in your career, you need also to combine those hard skills with soft skills. And we emphasize very much in the chair the importance of soft skills and presentation skills and consulting skills. You will understand also that it makes sense that we emphasize consulting skills when you know that our partner is Accenture. So I do think it's very interesting. You have to know that myself, by training, I'm an engineer, but now I'm in marketing, which is considered typically more as a kind of soft skills. And so I do believe that it's really the combination of hard skills and soft skills that is the winning mix for your career. So we articulate our training around 4 axes of development that you see summarized here. Analytics and IT, obviously, so you need to be able to analyze data with analytics, and you need to use IT tools to manipulate data and present your results. But then it makes sense only if it's connected to business concepts and business issues. And so here what we'll do at ESSEC, it's quite different actually from what you would do in an engineering school, because in an engineering school typically you would focus only on the data analysis and the hardcore problems. Actually here we don't really care about algorithms. What's important is that it makes sense for the business and it provides a solution to business practitioners. And so you will see, I'll explain what's the methodological approach we have. Basically, you will work on actual concrete business problems that have been provided by companies and that can be tackled using data. And this is really the approach we want to have. So the first question is not a technical question, it will be a business question. And then, okay, by the way, we have data to solve this issue. And so that's exactly what we want to approach. How do we want to approach it? And then, at the end of the process, once you've done your analysis, so once you've understood the business problem and conducted your data analysis, you need to present it to several types of stakeholders, I would say, and management. And in that context, you cannot just use something that is very complex to present. You really need, again, to make business sense. And so that's why we emphasize also a lot communication in the trainings we deliver. So you need to be able to analyze the data, but also understand the business issues, and being a sociologist or a marketing expert, be very clear. And that will be, you will see that will be a very big challenge. It's always easy to tackle complex issues with complex solutions. What's really difficult is to make it actually a simple solution, and the best solutions are always the simpler ones. And well, obviously we're in the digital world, so IT issues are a big deal. So, as we say in French, we are looking for ships with 5 legs. But again, remember what I said about supply and demand on the labor market. It's very good that you have this combination of different skills, but that will be very good for your career. Which makes someone like Thomas Davenport, a professor at Harvard Business School, say that data scientist is probably the sexiest job in the 21st century. Actually, we realize that maybe is it data scientist or is it business analytics expert? I think that it's really the combination of being one foot in the business and one foot in the data or the actual factual measures that make you, well, sexy from a job perspective. So here's the program. I propose that I go very quickly over the description of the program. You'd see that I have also 2 videos that I'd like to show you to explain exactly what we do. And then I'll open a session for Q&A if you have questions about the program. So the program starts in January. It's in 6 months. So first you'll have, we'll first focus actually on the tools you need and the skills you need to be able to analyze data with 2 courses, Big Data Analytics that is delivered by myself and Marketing Analytics that is delivered by Professor Arnaud de Bruyne. From January to June, you will be working on actual case studies that have been provided by different companies from the CAC 40, so the biggest companies in France that are clients of our partner. And I'll explain a bit more about that, but you will see in a moment what's the process. But basically, we want you to apply the, I would say, theoretical concepts that you have seen in big data analytics and marketing analytics, even if those two courses are very much grounded into practicalities, but those cases that we'll see together would be kind of academic cases, not data that have been directly provided by companies. For the case studies in business analytics course, this will really be data that will be provided by companies, and it may be, by the way, that you will have to sign NDAs and things like that, because so non-disclosure agreements, because sometimes the data is confidential. And then you can take the course on T2 or T3, I think. Where is Nina? Yeah, well, I think so. That's what's written on my slide, so I suppose it's true. Decision analysis is, again, a statistics course. And finally, you have the course of supply chain analytics and tools that can be delivered either in French or in English on T2 or T3. So, Yannick, can you show the video? Can you click on the link? So, before clicking on the link, wait. So, Pierre Nanterme is the CEO, the worldwide CEO of Accenture, and also an alumni of the school. So he'll be, so no. So it will be in French. I'm very sorry for that. But, well, for those of you who are international students, see it as an opportunity to improve your French skills. And if it's not clear, I'll explain afterwards what he says. Can you come back to the... Tu peux revenir Voilà, tu peux cliquer sur le lien. Tu peux pas cliquer sur le lien.
Bonjour à tous. Je suis Pierre Nanterme, le président directeur général d'Accenture, et très fier d'être diplômé de l'ESSEC. En plus de 30 ans chez Accenture, j'ai pu observer une profonde transformation de notre activité. Une croissance spectaculaire, nous employons aujourd'hui près de 300 000 personnes dans le monde et avons une capitalisation boursière d'environ 50 milliards de dollars. Une diversification de nos activités. Nous accompagnons aujourd'hui nos clients sur leurs orientations stratégiques, leurs investissements numériques, leur déploiement technologique et la gestion de leurs processus opérationnels. Aujourd'hui, la révolution numérique est en train de changer le monde. Par révolution numérique, je fais référence à l'impact que les technologies dites SMAC ont sur l'ensemble des industries. S comme social network. 25% des habitants de la planète sont aujourd'hui sur les réseaux sociaux. Les consommateurs façonnent directement les produits. Les collaborateurs interagissent différemment dans l'entreprise. M comme mobilité. 1 milliard de smartphones vendus en 2013, 20 milliards d'objets connectés. C'est la réalité d'un accès aux services et données partout et à tout moment. A comme analyse des données. Des milliers de milliards de données d'ores et déjà disponibles. Il s'agit ici de tirer parti de l'intelligence de ces données pour mieux cibler les offres de produits et de services. Et enfin, C pour cloud, ou comment baisser drastiquement le coût des infrastructures technologiques. Cette révolution numérique exige de nouvelles compétences et de nouveaux leaders. Il est absolument fondamental que vous soyez préparés et formés à ces nouveaux métiers. C'est pourquoi nous avons créé en partenariat avec l'ESSEC la chaire Accenture Strategic Business Analytics. Ce programme innovant vous donnera accès aux meilleurs professionnels du secteur, aux cas business les plus avancés et les plus pertinents. Bref, c'est pour vous l'opportunité unique de devenir les futurs leaders de cette nouvelle économie.
Okay, so a clarification point, by the way, all the trainings and events will be in English. But well, so there are some things that will still remain in French, but all the events and activities of the chair will be in English in general. So I'll move. Don't worry, Nina, I'll do it myself. Okay, so something that is, so the core of this whole program is actually the case study with Accenture course. So everything is articulated around those cases. The purpose is to give you the tools you need to be able to analyze those cases and to crack those cases. So the idea is to have an actual case study provided by companies, actually provided from top level managers and leaders. You'll see that basically we have C-level people, so the CTO of Orange, the chief data officer of Accor, the chief marketing officer of TF1. And so they provide cases with actual data, with data sets from their company, and you will analyze that and you will try to find a way to improve their business. So we're really in an actual consulting situation, and you'll see that, well, up to now, so it's the third year of the chair, and the previous years were very successful. For the first year, we had mostly data coming from ETALab, which is the open data agency of the French state. And so we had students working on social security issues and traffic problems and pollution issues and things like that. And so we had we had 4 groups actually who were invited to present their work to the French Senate in front of 2 ministers and a lot of journalists and senators. And so for them it was clearly an opportunity to demonstrate the value of what they've done. And so people were very, very impressed. For instance, Thierry Mandon was at the time Secretary of State for State Reforms and Simplification, and who is now the Secretary of State for universities and I don't remember the name in French, but so for universities, so one that is very important for us. And you also have some side projects. For instance, Max Metral, who was a student at the same time in the Strategic Business Analytics chair and in the sport marketing chair, he decided to do something for the Six Nations tournament, and so he contributed to the app that Accenture provides for this tournament. So it was quite interesting. So this is the second batch. So we see that we have a lot of students, and it was even better. The second year managed to deliver results that were even more impressive, I think. I suppose that it would be even better for the third year. But so here, let's look at the testimonial from those data providers and what they think about the chair. By the way, it's again in French. I'm sorry for that, but maybe can we have the subtitles, you think? Est-ce qu'on pourra avoir les sous-titres? If you have questions, I'll answer.
Vous ne les connaissez pas encore, mais eux s'intéressent à vous. Ces étudiants de la chaire Accenture Strategic Business Analytics de l'ESSEC sont des spécialistes de la data. Ils planchent déjà sur les problématiques concrètes des grandes entreprises devant lesquelles ils restituent leurs travaux.
On a travaillé avec le grand groupe hôtelier français Accor et notre projet tourne autour de leur programme de fidélité qui s'appelle le Club. Et notre idée, c'est d'utiliser les données clients d'Accor pour essayer de recruter des bons membres, des membres qui vont effectivement profiter du programme de fidélité.
Pour nous, le revenu management est une des armes fatales dans l'hôtellerie. Donc il faut qu'on modélise de mieux en mieux le futur de nos taux d'occupation, du prix qu'on peut faire, du channel par lequel on doit passer pour vendre nos hôtels.
La donnée de géolocalisation que nous avons mise à disposition des étudiants est cruciale. Elle est cruciale pour Orange, elle est cruciale pour toute entreprise qui, au travers de leurs clients, ont besoin d'analyser les flux de mobilité.
Alors, l'idée est plus précisément d'exploiter ces données de géolocalisation, notamment sur des problématiques de transport, d'énergie, de bureaux dans Paris et de gouvernance et de tourisme.
Des étudiants très pros, immergés certes dans le monde numérique, mais qui portent un regard neuf sur les activités des grands groupes.
Notre problématique avec TF1, c'est notamment d'optimiser leur business model en ligne. Donc, c'est-à-dire, c'est avec le changement qu'on voit aujourd'hui entre la télévision et en ligne, c'est vraiment de percevoir plus de revenus, qui peut se percevoir à cette masse grandissante de personnes qui regardent de plus en plus de médias et de contenus en ligne.
Nous étions peu avancés et forcément la chaire aussi. Et donc, on a pu travailler avec les étudiants pour leur fournir des datas complètement brutes sur une problématique où nous n'avions pas d'avis préconçu. Et on voulait justement la fraîcheur des clubs des étudiants de manière à avoir une restitution sur quelque chose qui nous intéressait vraiment.
Et ça marche, les étudiants ayant travaillé sur des données étalables concernant les remboursements de sécurité sociale évoquent déjà des pistes d'économie impressionnantes.
Oui, alors effectivement, dans le projet, ce qu'on a réussi à faire, c'est de proposer jusqu'à 1,6 milliard d'économies potentielles en analysant en fait les différences entre régions et notamment pour deux indicateurs précis qui sont le taux de substitution de générique en France et tout ce qui est phénomène de overprescription. Voilà.
Et donc c'est un jeu de données qui a été libéré par l'assurance maladie et qui peut donner lieu à plein d'études sur la manière dont on peut faire des économies autour des dépenses de médicaments.
Pour les grands groupes, nul doute que le positionnement particulier de la chaire confère aux étudiants une valeur très spéciale.
Pour être très transparent, on a cherché dans beaucoup de formations de type ingénieur. Et en fait, on est tombé sur des choses très tuyaux, IT, etc. Là où nous, on voulait utiliser la data comme moteur de quelque chose qu'on faisait, non pas juste comme données qu'on observe.
On travaille beaucoup déjà avec des labos, on a chez nous des PhD, on travaille avec ParisTech par exemple. Et je trouvais que c'était intéressant d'avoir des étudiants de l'ESSEC avec peut-être une approche différente des ingénieurs pour rentrer dans ces algorithmes et nous trouver des solutions innovantes.
Plutôt que de rentrer vraiment dans le détail de la donnée, ils vont aller chercher où est-ce qu'est la valeur ajoutée potentielle et après rentrer dans le détail. Donc c'est cette méthode qui nous intéresse.
J'avais l'impression de voir en face de moi des consultants avec une expérience au moins de 5 ans qui ont à la fois une élocution et une pertinence dans l'analyse, dans les recommandations qui est vraiment bluffante.
Alors difficile lorsqu'on est encore étudiant de s'arrêter là. Après une telle expérience, certains pensent déjà à la prochaine étape.
Le but, quand on travaille avec des experts dans ces domaines-là, c'est de nouer des contacts et pourquoi pas ensuite pour des futures expériences professionnelles.
C'est vraiment être cet alignement, ce croisement entre TF1 et les consommateurs pour vraiment que les deux soient gagnants dans l'histoire.
Une application, ce serait un premier pas pour Orange notamment, mais on est encore en pleine discussion avec eux pour savoir comment est-ce qu'ils voudraient essayer d'exploiter au mieux nos données et essayer d'avoir un petit impact dans leur activité de tous les jours.
On s'attend pas à ce que notre projet soit mis en place tel qu'on va le présenter aujourd'hui, mais on s'attend plutôt à ce que la méthodologie soit reprise et soit menée à son terme par accord avec tous ces moyens et toutes ces ressources.
En tout cas, la preuve que tous ceux qui confèrent de la valeur ajoutée à la donnée sont les bienvenus dans le monde numérique.
So, even if you didn't get everything, I think that the most important part is the part where the VP data strategy at Orange says that he was under the impression to have in front of him consultants with at least 5 years of experience. And so this is a bit the purpose of this whole process is to really kickstart your career and get you in front of those important guys as soon as possible in the process. Thank you very much. So we want obviously to attract highly motivated students with both quantitative and business skills, and all those words are important. So I will actually also assess your motivation. That's very important because this program is very intensive, very challenging. I would really advise you to discuss with former students because every year I have students who tell me, well, you told us, but actually I didn't believe it because all the professors, they're always saying that their course is difficult. And then actually I realized that it was indeed very difficult. So for instance, typically, you cannot do this chair doing something else in parallel. Typically having an internship or apprenticeship is impossible. So we won't take applicants who are willing to do full-time internships in parallel of this because this is you have to consider this is a full-time program. So and also another question I very often have is yeah, but I'm, for instance, I'm not a programmer, I'm not a computer scientist. Can I still apply? Yes, you can. Obviously, we're a business school, so here we don't want to train engineers. We want people who are able to use the tools. Obviously, the balance will be compared to other courses at ESSEC will be a lot on technicalities compared to what happens at ESSEC, but compared to what happens, for instance, at Central or other engineering schools, we are not interested, for instance, in having you developing your own algorithms. We want you just to use existing libraries and existing tools out of the box. So even if today you don't know anything about R, for instance, which will be the tool, the programming language that we'll use the most during the program, you can learn it before the beginning of you can even learn it during the first part of the program. It will be okay. It will be challenging, but it will be okay. Actually, every year since we started, among the best students, there is always some students who were coming from a literature type of track in the past, and they didn't know anything about computer programming, and they did okay. It was a challenge for them, but actually, don't forget that there is this communication part and understanding of the business processes. And if you focus too much on the technicalities, you miss actually the point of what we do. So it's very important that you have this balance. And obviously, we don't expect you to be trained before the beginning of the program. So if you have some area for improvement, for instance, in terms of coding, it's fine, as long as I trust that you will be motivated enough to get back on track compared to those who have some preliminary skills. And as soon as you will be selected, so that should be end of October or beginning of November, I'll come back to that in a moment. As soon as you will be selected, I'll send an email giving you a list of things you can do before the program starts, among which tutorial for using R and the MOOCs that you could enroll to in order to be ready for the beginning of the program. So here's a wrap-up of the different things I've said. I think I covered everything. Yes, so I'll probably go to the final slide. So if you want to enroll, you should go on the website. If you go on this website, I will send the slides actually, by the way, after the presentation. But in any case, if you just type on Google Strategic Business Analytics Chair ESSEC, you will end up on the web page. There, if you go to Programme Pédagogique or academic courses, you can enroll directly from there. And if you have any question, you can ask a question to Nina Edelat, who will present herself in a moment. You have to know that at some point, if you do the program, you will hate me because I will have you working too much. But don't forget that Nina is always there to help you, and so she will be the one that you will love at some point. And so it's very important that you get along very well. So Nina, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Nina. So I don't have much to say compared to what Nicolas already said. It's just if you have any questions regarding the chair or the recruitment process, please send me an email. And I think they can ask questions right now.
So just also in conclusion, so don't forget to apply before the 12th of October. This is the deadline. Afterwards, we won't accept any additional application. And already book even. Don't wait for you to be selected for the recruitment day for booking the date, but on the 21st of October, we'll have an assessment. But so the process is as follows. First, there will be a first selection based on your applications. You will be notified by email if you're selected or not. And on the 21st, we do the assessment at Accenture's premises, and so it won't be the full day, but already booked the full day because we have so many applications that we need to have several sessions over the day, and we don't know yet in which session you will be. And just for you to know again, usually we have a lot of very good candidates, and we have to reject some candidates. Well, so last year we rejected candidates that were very good because we were limited with the number of seats, which means that we'll ask you to be very reactive and to let us know ASAP once you're selected if you still want to enroll into the chair or not. Because sometimes some people say, yeah, well, in any case, for instance, last year, someone received CDI, so a full-time contract from Airbnb, just during the recruitment process. And so she decided to go to Airbnb instead of doing the chair, which I understand, because actually the point of doing the chair was for her to go to Airbnb afterwards. So well, it made sense. But so my point is that please be aware that we'll ask you to be very reactive during this period, and so check your mails regularly. Certainly if you see something coming from Nina, because we'll probably ask you to reply very quickly. First question, and then, we'll ask you to talk in the mic because maybe you don't know that, but actually we are testing something today. This is a digital chair. So it's live streamed on YouTube at the same time. So, so be careful with what you say because it's live streamed on YouTube.
Okay, so I'll be careful what I say. Just a data question. Working. It's working. It's working. How many seats do you have? 3?
How many seats?
How many seats do you have in the chair? And
so, well, difficult to count, but last year we had, I think, around 100 people who started the enrollment process, and we selected 40 students from the Grande École. So, and actually, you have to know that with Accenture, they told us during this assessment day, actually we would take all of the students not for the chair, but even for an actual job. And we had to reject 3 or 4 students that they wanted to keep, but we were not able to keep them because of the seats of those classrooms. Actually, we are limited by the classroom size. As from next year, we'll try to find a solution for that, actually. And so we are ready to go up to 60 seats. But we won't take people just for the sake of the volume. We want to have as many good candidates that would be recruited by a top company like Accenture or other consulting companies as possible. So I would say we aim at 60, but who knows? Maybe it will be a bit less. Maybe it will be a bit more if we have absolutely to find a solution. But it's certainly in between 40 and 60. Another question there.
Can we use the project to validate some UVEP?
No, the project is actually part of a course. So yes, because the project is actually an UV. So the project is part of a course. There is nothing else than this project in this course. There is no exam. So the project, but. Underlying that question, there is something that you need to understand, is that this is more than... so typically you will work more than what's expected for a classic course. Just a benchmark. Usually I ask the students how many hours did you work on this project, and typically they say in between 60 and 100 hours for this project alone. So this is typically more than what students at ESSEC do for a course.
Okay, sorry. Try to go quick. So who was it? Sorry.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Professor. So I saw on the website that you have also a business analytics application track. So I would like to know if there's a selection process for the track, and what are the differences considering the required courses between the track and the chair?
Thank you very much for that question, because this is a very important question. So there are actually, you could see it as there are basically 2 tracks. Business analytics methods, which is actually the core track of the statistics department, and business analytics applications, which is this one. And so, as the name says, we focus on applications, and what does that mean for the business? And the business analytics methods focus on methodologies. So typically, if you want to be a pure statistician, I would say I think that you should go to the business analytics methods track. And if you want to be more like a kind of consultant or business expert using data, then you should go to us. There is a selection for our chair. There is no selection for the business analytics methods track.
So do you mean that the application track and this chair is the same thing? They are mixed together, or?
So it was just business analytics applications is actually the former name of the chair. Now the name of the chair is Strategic Business Analytics with Accenture, but before it was called Business Analytics Methods. But so it's the same thing, but well, it doesn't exist anymore, Business Analytics Methods. It's what we do now here.
Okay, so the only difference is method and the application. So
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For advanced master students, do you think it's possible to take 2 chairs, including yours?
No.
No. Okay. Thank you.
So just a clarification about that. It's not because advanced masters, it's because 2 chairs. So we are open to any good candidate, wherever they come from, as long as they are ready to commit full-time or almost full-time on T2 and T3.
Actually, you're not supposed to attend 2 chairs at the same time, just for your information.
So yeah, it's a general comment. Whatever the chair, officially you cannot. Thank you, Nina.
I saw on the website that we should expect for the T2 to use all our points to take the classes of this chair. What does it mean, that we can only have the 3 classes of the chair for the T2, or?
So again, very good question, but I cannot give you an official answer to that, because what we did last year, I'll give an explanation for that question. The problem was that those courses, as from the moment we opened the chair, were very popular among the students. And to get one of those courses, you had to bid 55 points to get it. So the fact was that you couldn't actually take all those courses together because they were too expensive. And so what we decided to do was to say, okay, last year that's what we did. We decided to say, okay, if you're selected for the chair, you can preempt those seats. You cannot have too many points by other courses in addition to what you already have. Otherwise, it's unfair for the other students. And so we found out some middle ground. Actually, it's not totally true that you had no point at all. You could take some other courses like language courses and other courses. But the thing is that this very morning, I checked with Marie-Noël Keubel, who is in charge of the programs, and she told me that she would get back to Nina ASAP for an answer about that. But the thing is that you need to understand that those courses are very expensive, and you don't really want the market to play here if you're selected into the program. So we're trying to find a solution for the students the chair students to be able to enroll into those courses. But so I think you've understood the rationale. If you ask me, will we be able to take other courses in addition to the chair? My reply would be, don't forget what I said about the commitment of the chair. So even in practice, the number of courses you could take should be very limited, and that's what we'll try to have as a principle for what we'll implement in January. But we'll let you know in advance. Don't worry about that.
Other questions? Yes. First and then you.
Hi, I just wondered, do you consider a student who's doing apprenticeship with weekly rhythm, 2 days at work and 3 days at ESSEC?
Je see Nina's head. So we have a special agreement with Accenture. If they have students who are in apprenticeship, they manage the time in such a way that they can do the chair. And so we said no apprenticeship at all, except if you are at Accenture. That's what we said last year. And actually, even that was not working, because even like that, it was almost impossible for the student who was in that situation to do both at the same time. So the answer is unfortunately no. But frankly, again, don't think that you'll be able to do something at the same time as this program. And I say it every year. Every year, people tells me afterwards, yeah.
I wish there were some students from last year there.
We are very lucky. We have our president and dean, but I suppose it's not for. You don't want to enroll into the chair, Jean-Michel? So you want to, yeah, so actually Jean-Michel, we are live streaming on YouTube for the moment, so okay.
Yeah, I was saying I wish there were some former students from last year here with us today. They would be able to testify and tell you that this is very work demanding, and you cannot do both apprenticeship and
really discuss with the students who did the chair. They'll tell you that this is no. Okay.
I'd like to know if a student is rejected in the first year, he's also able to apply for the second time?
Yeah, thank you very much. A very good question. So the thing is that since we have so many applications, we typically give the priority to last year students or students with more experience. So because if you're in your last year, you won't be able to do it next year. So if you do apply for your first or second year, don't take it personally if you reject it, because it's probably that we decided to give the priority to someone who won't be able to do it in the future. And you can indeed, for sure, apply again next year, because then, in terms of motivation, it's a very good signal for me. It means that you know what you want.
I have already validated marketing analytics, so will I have to do it again?
No, you will have a waiver. So we need to make sure that you had the course with Arnaud de Bruyne, but I think you did, and so you will have a waiver if you passed, obviously.
I have a question regarding the recruitment processes. If I didn't get it wrong, there is also a written test for the recruitment, or no?
No. So there is a screening on your application. And so this is the first selection. And then there is assessment in group. And actually, we apply exactly the same process as what they do at Accenture for recruitment, traditional recruitment. So you will have to, so basically, you will be assigned to a group of other applicants. You will work on a case with a group of 4 to 5 people, typically. Then you will have, so you will be assessed on the way you interact with the other participants, and also are your ideas constructive and innovative and smart. And then you will have to present in front of the jury the result of your analysis. So it's a classic group assessment type of selection process. But so no written test as such, except the application itself, which is not a test.
About the first application process, because you mentioned that background or the training already had or the experiences is not the 100% sure, like it's not the most important thing. And then you said like motivation is sort of like more cherished for the application process.
So yeah, thank you for the clarification, because indeed your question shows that I wasn't very clear. It's not that your background doesn't matter. My point is just that you don't have to be a computer scientist or a programmer to apply. And when I say motivation, it's not about an essay, frankly. Essays, I know that we have students that are very good at writing essays. And so I look at what you did in the past, and I look at your grades, and so I'll see, for instance, typically, even if you're not a programmer, if you never succeeded in any quantitative type of course, it will be difficult for you. And if you never, typically someone who worked for a company that I know is data-driven may have already the right mindset, because they have this experience of working with data in a company. Even if they were not data scientists themselves, being in contact with people working with data will help you understanding what we're doing here and understand how much it's important to connect business with technicalities. So that's what please mark my word, I don't want to waste your time. Doesn't matter if you're writing a very nice essay about the fact that since your birth you've always dreamed about being a data scientist. I've been a student myself before you, so I know a bit how it works. And I'll be looking at facts. I won't be looking at what people say so much. Again, yeah?
Yes, another question.
Just regarding the past experiences, because I took private courses, for example, for coding and stuff, but I cannot make that into my CV, for example. So
why so? Private courses.
Yes, because it's not official. Like I was not getting any kind of certificate.
It's like language, you know. It's on. Well, in French we say that it's a testimonial on your honor when you. So if you tell me that you're fluent in English, even if I see no course, I'll trust that you're fluent in English. So if you're telling me that you're fluent in C, for instance, or in R, I'll trust you. Now it's true that if you lie, later we'll have an issue, and I'll remember that. So I have a good memory, you know. So be aware not to be frank, please, and honest. But I trust you'll be.
Can you give us some examples of current positions of former students? Like, is it mostly consulting or other things?
So we typically have 3 types of positions after the chair. So management and strategy consultants are, I think, well, no, actually, you know, the first batch is a lot of people are going to startups and entrepreneurial companies that are heavily relying on data analysis. And so it can go from Airbnb, as I said, to I don't know, 55. What's the name of this company? Rocket. Those type of. And that I would say it's a bit more than 1/3. Another third is management consultants or strategy consultants, so like BCG, Bain, etc., and everything else. But because actually, no. So, for instance, I said the case of Max Metral with a student I know for a long time. It's quite funny because he always wanted to use analytics in sport. Maybe you know Nate Silver, and maybe you know the movie Moneyball. But so he wanted to do it. He wanted to be Brad Pitt, basically, and so now he works for Manchester City as a data analyst. So he achieved what he wanted to do, but this is a difficult category, you know. But so typically, I think that companies nowadays are all looking for people able to analyze data. So there is 1/3 of the students who are going to, I don't know, Air Liquide, Total, or those companies, or but in a data or business analyst type of role.
Is there?
I would just like to know if there's any way to get in touch with former students of the chair.
Nina. So she will bring you into contact.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there is a group as well. There is an open group and a closed group on Facebook. So maybe you can directly post there. Say is someone, but to go through Nina is the easiest one.
Okay. Other questions? No? Had a question online, but I don't know if you want to answer.
Yeah, well, you have 5 minutes.
Could you please explain more about the type of coding and big data analytic projects that will be taken up during the chair? Maybe
okay, 5 minutes. You have to know that most of the applications nowadays, it's very often about marketing analytics. And so that's why actually we have a course dedicated to marketing analytics, because this is a typical type of application you have of analytics. So if I think at the projects that were presented last year, we had people segmenting customers for Accor and proposing a new go-to-market strategy for Accor and their loyalty cards. We had people proposing a new targeting strategy for TF1, so the main TV network in France, for on their website, and for proposing, so basically doing recommendations, and also optimizing the ads revenues for TF1. We had people working in geolocalization data and using geolocalization information from Orange for the city of Paris, leveraging data for different applications, from energy saving to security and those type of things. I think that actually there are some examples that are available on the website where you will be able to find a brief description of those projects on the website, in the articles. If there is no other question, well, I'm looking forward to see your applications, and so maybe see you on the 21st of October. Thank you very much.